So, as said, little girls with dreams become women with vision. Supporting and celebrating women's rights is a year round responsibility, but on International Women's Day, which is on March 8th, that is tomorrow, it's even more important for us to take a stand for women's equality. So, we are back with the second day of the Women's Day special series presented to you by a collaboration of 10 DSCs. The agenda for today is making you aware of various opportunities and programs by the scholars of these various programs. I'm Sangeeta Jha, lead organizer of this Women's Day special series and lead of DSC Indira Gandhi, Delhi Technical University for Women. I and Ankita will be the hosts for the today's session. Ankita, you are on mute.
Papa, just a second, huh, Sangeeta? Yeah, so sorry for the disturbance. Hello everyone, I am Ankita, lead at DSC ASSMS COE, and today I would like to welcome you all on the second day of Women's Week. Yesterday, we heard many experiences of some successful women industry experts. But before jumping into the industry world, everyone is a student, right? We have to go through student life and then we go to the industry expertise. And our student life defines our career path. So today, let's hear from girls who have achieved a lot of success and aced many competitions while being a student. We have four panelists today. Let's get introduced to them.
So, our first panelist for the day is Ananya Arun. She is a final year student at IIIT Hyderabad. She is an Outreach 2019 intern. She has also participated in various competitions like Google Summer of Code 2020 and in addition has been Google Coding Mentor in 2019.
Next, we have Soumya Singh. So, Soumya is software engineering intern at Red Hat, program manager at GirlScript, and also she's a final year student and currently she have won Google Connect 2019 and also Startup India Hackathon too. She is also GHCI 20 scholar and has won awards like 21 U21 awards. She has also been a finalist of Red Hat Open Source Award and she is also mentoring GCI, IIITK and Girl Script Summer of Code.
Sangeeta, I think you're still on mute.
Yeah, you are on mute, Sangeeta.
I'm really sorry. So next we have Sashrika Kaur. She is a senior year student from Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women. She is currently working as a hackathon product specialist for Major League Hacking and is one of the first MLH coaches in the APAC region. She worked as an SWE intern for Flipkart and awarded many scholarships and recognitions for her impact on the community of women in tech, such as Google Women Taker Scholarship, Goldman Sachs VTech Scholarship 2019, and Grace Hopper Celebration India Scholarship. She is an advocate for the women in the tech community and is also a regular speaker at various events.
Then last panelist of today is Dravisha. So moving on to our next finalist, we have Dravisha with us. Dravisha is a young professional who loves to transform ideas into action for marketing, business development, strategy making, project management, product experiences, and mental health initiatives. Her current focus alongside academics and work is on Learn for Less, which is a startup made by her where she is helping students, young professionals, build their personal brand, improve their career opportunities via a 2-day unique workshop at only $1 of cost, along with free resources to be able to cater to students with financially weaker backgrounds. She has embarked on journeys as a marketing strategist, project manager, founding member, and an advisor with high growth startups. She is also the first female South Asian partner at Good City Foundation, which is a Hong Kong based organization. And it is a project to co create a sustainable tourism lab, Bali, along with the Bali government. And now she is leading the Indian subcontinent for their expansion and outreach with an 8 times increase in the event applications till date. Diving into the past, she has worked with startups such as Local.ai, Lokiatham, LeanTrack, Encino Ventures Private Limited, helping them with business development, product launch, product management, and many more fields.
Now, as we have introduced all four of our speakers, let's hear from them about their personal journeys. So, starting with Ananya.
So, hello everyone. Firstly, thank you so much, Sangeeta and Ankita, for having me here today. It feels absolutely wonderful to be here with all the panelists, like such amazing young girls. So, talking a little bit more about my journey, I first started with computer science in my 11th grade when I opted for computer science as my optional subject. So until then in school, I was always fond of maths. Maths was always my favorite subject, and I really enjoyed problem solving and general mental ability in general. So up till then, I was basically always doing the problem solving manually using a pen and paper. So I was really intrigued and fascinated by this transition to coding, which essentially involves teaching a computer how to do it via code. So I guess that's where it all started, and that's where my interest in this technology and CS domain started. So moving on, I was lucky enough to get admission into IIIT for computer science, and I would say it has been the past 3 years that honestly allowed me explore so much in the field of technology, learn so many new things, and that's what truly made me fall in love with this field. So when I first stepped into IIIT Hyderabad as a fresher, just looking around, I saw all my batchmates and seniors and such great, passionate students who were doing so well in different fields. There were people who were experts at competitive coding and they were representing India in ICPC and contests. And then there was this other line of people who were just so driven by research and they were doing so well in that field and publishing papers at top conferences and journals. And then there was this other set of people who were doing so well in the field of open source. They were interns and mentors at all these different open source internships. And I guess just being surrounded by that kind of peers was what was really instrumental in sort of firstly making me aware of the different opportunities that exist, and secondly making me want to do them as well. Like I think that was what really gave me the fire to like try my hand at all these things as well. So in the first 2 years at college, I basically just explored everything. I tried my hand at everything. I tried competitive coding. I tried open source. I took part in a lot of hackathons. I tried organizing events. And I just basically wanted to explore everything and learn as much as I could, make most of my college years and like really grow myself as a person and in the field of tech. So this was basically my first 2 years. And then fortunately, after my second year, I got a chance to intern with Outreachy as an open source intern over that summer. And I'd say this was a really life-changing experience because till my second year, I was just always, working on small course projects or small team projects, but everything was always something done within a small organization or for a small startup, and it wasn't really something tangible. But as a part of Outreachy, I got to work on this huge code base, collaborate with developers all around the world, and actually work on a project that is impactful. So, you have people, so many people using that site live, and the code you're writing is now actually getting merged to something that is impactful. So this was when I realized I have so much more responsibility with what I'm writing, and I need to take ownership of what I do. And I think that whole summer was a really enriching experience that transformed me as a thinker, as a software developer, and really taught me so much about the whole software development lifecycle. So moving on to my third year, I then got opportunities to become a mentor for Google Code-In and Google Summer of Code. And right now I was like at the other end of the field. So before I was an intern, I was basically I was going to my mentors for help and I just had to write code and get that merged. But now I was a mentor. I was in the decision-making side. I had so much more responsibility and authority, and there were students that I had to guide. So like this was a whole new enriching experience altogether, and like it taught me so much. And I guess the whole journey of the past 4 years, I've been really thankful that I got a lot of interview opportunities for internships. And I think that whole thing also was such a learning experience because with every interview, you realize what are your mistakes and how you can improve. And with every passing day, you just get better and better. So currently, I'm in my fourth year in a dual degree course. So I still have a very long way to go. And I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. So yeah, happy to take your questions here today.
Next, we'll have Sashrika.
Yeah, sure. Your story was very inspiring, Ananya. I actually I was felt so relatable with her story that I wanted to like explain my experiences and journey along with that. So the day that I entered my university, the first day that I stepped into ITTQW was when I found. So it was a very different experience. It was a women's university, and the first thought that I had was when I entered into this university, yes, this is what's gonna break my career into tech, and it's what's gonna actually transition my entire personality and help me grow as an individual. And the reason that I thought so was because when I entered that university, and the coding culture was not that active at that point of time, the day that I entered, or probably the month that I entered. But I could see that zeal and that enthusiasm in all the girls of my university that yes, we had to take it up to the next level. We had to make a mark. We were like, it's been 5 years that our university has been like an independent university, and everyone took it to themselves to just go out, explore, find out about new opportunities, get them back in, and also help out folks from our community to get that same experience, learn more, and do and actually pursue their career further. So I started my journey in tech when I started learning. I had the same experiences. So I was trying out different things. I tried out to, first I started coding, first I started picking up language, learning through that. Then I started with Android application development. And moving on with that, what I saw was that there's so much to learn in technology. It's like a never ending journey, and you're always learning something new. And that is what is the most exciting part about it. So I started with that and I started learning. And I also was a big advocate for women in tech community back then as well, because I saw that there are a lot of opportunities for women in tech out there, but not everyone knows about them. So there's a huge gap between the opportunities and the awareness about those opportunities. And that is what needs to be bridged. So we were on a roll there to, find out different opportunities, explore, and then apply to it. So I remember my senior who once told me and advised me that you should never be afraid of applying to any opportunity that comes across your way, because once you get past that first initial barrier of fear that you have, or probably the imposter syndrome that you get before you apply to apply to any program or application, that is when all these opportunities come flourishing, and that is when you actually see what it is that you are capable of. That is when you realize how much you can do and contribute to this community. So I started doing that. I applied to tons of opportunities, and I was grateful enough that that's when came across my first scholarship, which was the VTech Goldman Sachs scholarship, which I got in my second year. Along with that, the best part about that scholarship opportunity was that I got to, be a part of a 6-month mentorship program with Goldman Sachs, where I was allotted a mentor, a career mentor to help me guide through the entire process. She helped me out. She trained me. She actually took one-on-one calls with me a lot of times, as much as I needed, so that I can, learn and get insights about the industry, get experience, and so that I'm not afraid when I go for my interviews, right? It's very scary out there when you first start interviewing, and I get that. But if you have someone to mentor you, that's what changes the entire game. So I had a lot of mentorship opportunities from that. I also contributed my time to mentor others through the Learn It Girl program or the WooTech mentorship program after that. And it was a whole journey altogether. This was all very inspiring. The stories were great. The experiences were amazing. And again, the fact that I could not forget was that you should need to apply. You should not be afraid of applying to different opportunities. So that is when I applied to the Google Women Tech Maker Scholarship. That scholarship, funny story about that is that I wasn't even sure that I would get past the first round. I was so scared about submitting the application the night before that I actually 2 days before submitting my application, I removed all my answers and from the doc, and I was like, no, I have to write it all over again. This is not my story. This is not what I truly believe in. I have to write what I truly believe in, and I have to write how when I started this journey, I did not have access to those opportunities. I was the first engineer in my household, and from my parents or my mother's side, and this is not how my journey unfolded. I had to take a lot of mentorship. I had to grind myself, go to a lot of community events, network with a lot of people, and then understand what this particular industry entails. What is there for me to work through it. What is my persona? So I wrote my answers again, and I got them reviewed with a senior of mine, and she was like, I love it, you should submit it, and forget it, like don't worry if you'll even get selected or not. Funny story about the other funny story about that is, Women Tech Makers was not the first scholarship I applied to. Not even BTech Goldman Sachs was also not the first scholarship that I applied to. I applied to about 100 scholarship programs and mentorship programs that I wanted to be a part of, and I got rejected from a bunch of them. And once I got selected, I realized that there is only one yes that you need in order to feel confident in yourself, to take that step forward, to take that leap of faith that you want to. So that's when I realized that, yes, I got this and I can do this. And once I got a call from Women Tech Makers for the interview call for the scholarship program, that's when I realized that it was not like an interview at all. It was a talk about my experiences. It was a talk about what I believe in, what I truly admire, and what it is that I want out of a career in tech. So it was a very friendly conversation. I was a huge fan of that program. And once I went to Australia for the retreat program, I realized that, there are a lot of women out there who feel the same way that I do. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and there's a lack of awareness, and they are a little scared about getting into it, probably because of imposter syndrome, other things. I didn't even know I had imposter syndrome back then when I started my career in tech. I realized that when I went to the retreat program, and there was a session, a Googler was up on stage, and she talked about how she applied 12 times to Google before actually getting into it. And once she got into it, she was not from a traditional computer science background, and she was so scared to make her mark in the world of tech that she wasn't able to do her best. And there was a sense of imposter syndrome that came into her, and it said that, all right, this might not be the place for me. But then there was this line that she said that inspired me a lot, and that was that somebody took it to themselves to ensure that, yes, I should be here, and now it's my job to do my job perfectly, and it's my job to do my best, whatever that may be, and then move forward, and let's see where it takes us. So I mean, that is a very inspirational thought, that do what you can, and and everything else would unfold on itself. And that is what I did. I applied to a bunch of opportunities after that. I always thought about making my next move should be. I was career oriented in that front. And I was also inspired by a lot of wonderful community of extraordinary women that I got to meet on the retreat program, and post that through different scholarship programs as well. So after the Women Tech Maker Scholarship, I got back. I also got a chance to interview with Flipkart, which was an amazing experience altogether. It was an internship opportunity for a software developer program, and it guided me a lot about the industry insight that I needed. Post this was the MLH program, Major League Hacking, came along. I applied to become a coach. And the reason that I applied to do so was because I was participating in hackathons a lot. I organized a bunch of hackathons, and I won a few. So it was a very exhilarating experience. Like, it was like 48 hours, you're awake constantly, and probably taking an hour or two nap in between, just so that your energy is right there on track, and you're right there in the middle of an atmosphere where everybody is coding, everybody is working on a project, and they're about to complete that project in 48 hours. And after that, they're also very enthusiastic for the pitch section, where they have to present it with all the zeal and enthusiasm. So it's like, this is amazing, and this is an industry I want to grow more in. So that's when I applied to the Major League Hacking program, and my life has never been the same since then, because Major League Hacking has been an incredible program for me to walk through and work along with that. So it was, my manager has been a great guide and mentor throughout. So he's helped me learn a lot of things that I didn't know before, and he inspires me to grow each and every day. He inspires me to take on those opportunities that I didn't believe that I could. And this is what has been an inspiring journey for me. So I realized that there's a lot of gap. When I realized that there was a lot of gap between the hackathons that happened, all around the world, and the hackathons that happened in India. And that gap actually was a game changer, because once you do something, like, for instance, there is this thing where, in India, we focus a lot on live sessions or presentations or demo videos. But outside, they focus on the science. Like, for example, I went to Singapore and I saw that there they had this science fair structure way. And I realized that the reason that is important is that after a hackathon, once you build a product in 48 hours, you want to talk about it. You want to talk about it to the judges, and you don't just want to go through a presentation and demo it, right? You want the judges to ask questions, be a very informal conversation about your passion. Like, why do you want that product to be the best product out there that can be? And that is why the science fair waves is interesting. So these were a few learnings that I got to know once I started working with MLH and taking technical sessions, hosting workshops, and moving my way through it. So overall, it's been an amazing journey. And that is why when Ananya told me about her experiences and she was like guiding through how she, participated in different outreach programs and helped out the community members, I realized that it's a lot similar to my journey. I also had no idea about, what I want to pursue further. I had mentors to guide me, and that helped me throughout. And then I also took it on me to, go ahead and participate in those community programs to help out others. And this is what is the most inspiring part about Women's Day, I suppose, because these stories are what inspire us to do more and inspire others to, pursue those opportunities they were scared to pursue before.
It was really inspiring to hear you, and I guess I'm sure, like I don't need to guess, I'm sure that many of us are inspired by your journey. We shouldn't like give up even after one application. I myself has like applied for DSC lead. I didn't had much experience about anything, but when some senior asked me or guided me to do, I applied for it, and yes, I achieved that also. It was really inspiring to hear you.
Thank you
Next,
so
we have
much.
Soumya.
Hi everyone. I hope my voice is perfectly audible. So it was really amazing to hear about Sashrika, about Ananya. The stories of both the girls are really highly inspiring, I should say. And talking about my journey, so from the very starting, like from the school days, I was like a very studious child, very much into books, always, studying. And the interesting thing is that, like, initially, like when you are in, the primary classes, you can say, when you are in sixth, seventh, and all, at that time I was really not serious about study. Like, it was all a kind of burden for me. But in seventh class, my dad was my class teacher, my maths, like he's a mathematics teacher. And he, like, when he became my class teacher, so I don't know how I started taking studies very seriously. From then, like, I started like study a lot. Like, from then I have been like getting rank 1 always. And yeah, like that's why, because I was little good in mathematics, science. So yeah, my parents said that you should go ahead in engineering. There was no pressure from their side that you should pick this domain or that domain. They were like, you can choose anything you want. And luckily, I chose the engineering, the tech domain, and today I am here. I am really proud of that decision, that I choose to pursue BTech. I choose to pursue engineering. This is really something which I love. Like, at that time, I was not really sure that is it the right decision which I'm making. But today I can say that yes, that was really the correct decision which I made at that point of time. So when I came to my university, the college was like mostly there were all around boys. Like, in our class also, there are only 4 girls. This was really a very astonishing thing for me, that only 4 girls are there in the engineering domain. And that was the time when I realized why people talk that women are less in tech, and we need more women at leadership positions, we need more women in engineering. That was the time when I realized this thing. But yes, like whatever decision I took, I thought that I should go ahead with this. It does not matter what the ratio is. Like, if I am passionate about this thing, so I should go ahead. So that's why I took admission there. And in the starting, I was not sure that how things will be in the future. So in the starting, like everyone, I was also very much into the co-curricular activities. I was organizing those technical fest, the social fest activities. I was very much into hosting events and all. I was not sure that how and when will I enter into the technical world, the real technical world, where I will get the opportunity to work on the big practical softwares, right? So it's about, I would say, in third semester, I realized that I have chosen engineering. I should do something related to it. And I did a lot of research. I took advice from my seniors, and I must say that they helped a lot in giving me right direction, what you should do, how you should do. And then I started, like, after exploring a lot, after trying many tech stacks, like after trying web, obviously after computer fundamentals, when the basic concept, the basic coding stuff, like the data structure and everything is clear. After that, I thought, like, I give a fixed time to each and every tech stack, to web, to Android. I tried everything, and somewhere I felt that okay, Android is something of my interest. And I started doing Android development a lot. Like when we see those apps in our mobile phone, when we use WhatsApp, when we use the those shopping apps, that really seems very exciting. I thought of why could I not develop those apps, right? So that's why, that's how my interest into Android development came into picture. I started learning Android development. I did a lot of projects in that. And yes, like I did a lot of freelancing projects also. And I should say that the real changer, like game changer in my life, was open source. When I started participating, and not exactly participating, I should use the word, like when I entered into the open source world, when I get to know about the open source communities out there, I filtered the Android projects of those communities, because I was very much into Android, and I started contributing to those projects. I really learned a lot. Like before doing open source stuff, I did like several internships. I worked with startups. I was like internship here at coding. I did internship at coding blocks and all. So it was those internships obviously give a lot of knowledge. I learned a lot many things from all those startups, from all those companies. But when I entered here in the open source world, like when I get the chance to work with the so experienced people, when I started contributing to those huge projects which have thousands, lakhs of lines of code already written, then I got the real knowledge, I should say. That, like, the learning period, that was the real learning period, I must say. When you are working with those senior software engineers, principal software engineers, who have a great knowledge, who know how to maintain software, who know how to write a clean and perfect code, when you work with them, you obviously learn a lot. And yes, that was really a great experience after participating in open source programs. I also thought of applying to those mentorship programs. I applied to like many mentorship program related to open source. And that I want to share one of my experience. Like in Google Coding, I applied with anitab.org. I was not sure if there will be any interview or something. Like I applied at a few more organizations as well. In Mifo's organization, I applied, and based on my profile, based on my previous open source contribution, they send me a congratulation mail that okay, you are shortlisted. I thought that okay, is it this much simple? Like don't I need to give any interview? But when I came to know about anitab.org, they have like 3 rounds of interview for Google Coding. And that was really interesting. Like because of the time zone, they set the interview at 3 a.m. midnight. I really missed that interview, because I was like in my second year, I think. Yeah, I was in my second year. I was not like like I misread the timing and all. And like I was sleeping at 3 a.m. Then I got the next day, I saw that okay, I was having an interview at 3 a.m. I immediately messaged the admins, and they were kind enough to reschedule the interview. So yeah, I again give the interview, and everything went well. I got the congratulations mail again. I got the chance to mentor pre-university student all over the world. It was a great experience again. And yes, like as Sashika said, that it's very important to apply to the programs. It does not matter if you get rejection, if you get acceptance mail, it's okay. Just accept that. But even if you get failure mail, don't feel demotivated. Never. Like, take that as a motivation, take that as a fuel, and do better in the future. And if you get the congratulations mail, then that's worth celebrating it, right? And yes, like in 2020 I applied to the, that was an international international women open source academic award. That is a famous award, and I was really not sure of getting selected. I just applied because I was willing to apply. Like, I thought, just give it a try. Like, you have done some open source contribution, maybe you will get the recognition, maybe you will be nominated for it. So I applied there, and luckily, fortunately, when I got the mail, it was like, confidential, you are one of the finalists. I was like, oh my god, I that was really a great like a very important mail in my inbox. That is really a great thing. And like all the finalists are invited. Like it depends where they are organizing that thing, like maybe in Canada, Australia, wherever. But like, lockdown came, and you guys can guess what happened next. So everything went virtual, and the travel grant scholarship, that, like, it was not vain, like not vain, of course. The virtual, they managed many things beautifully. Like, virtually also, they tried to give us a very beautiful experience. They managed everything so well, so that was also very nice. But obviously, when you meet, when you go in, offline meeting, there is another feeling, right? So yes, that's about the International Women Open Source Academic Award. Apart from that, I have been applying in really many applications, many scholarships, and yes, the advice that I would like to give to the audience who is listening to us is, never be scared of failure. Just go and apply. Don't be scared of what will be the outcome. Just give your best, apply. It's important to apply. You will learn the process. Like, when you will write those essays, when you will write things, so you will get the experience that how things are actually, right? So always do this. Don't be scared of applying anywhere. And yes, like, connect with Google challenge was another amazing experience. Like the Google newsletter, I subscribed myself to the newsletter, and every time, like on monthly basis, I used to get mails that on this month, all over the globe, this person is the winner for Connect with Google challenge. Like, I used to scroll every month, I used to scroll the mail till the end to read that who is the winner this time. So I thought, why shouldn't I participate in it? Like, I didn't heard about this competition before, but obviously from that newsletter, from that mail, I was always reading that, okay, there is something like Connect with Google challenge. So in December 2019, I thought of participating in it. I filled the applications. There were like criteria, there were processes in that. And luckily, again, there also I became the winner globally. Like, every time there used to be a one winner, like but in December 2019, there were two winners. One was me from India, and another person was there. She was also, I guess, from India. So yeah, nowadays I don't see that Google Connect with challenge at the end of the newsletter. I'm not sure if they have closed the program. Like, Google Coding has also been closed. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, that was also a great experience. And yes, I am very much excited to take the questions from the audience out there, and I will try my best to help the audience. So yes, that's all about my journey. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Soumya, for sharing your journey. And as you said, the most important and the first step is to apply for the scholarship and internship, which is like most of us fail to do. So we should apply for the scholarships and mentorships programs without a fear of rejection, because that's the first step of success, I must say. And now let's hear from Dravisha, her story.
Thank you so much, Ankita, and thank you so much for inviting me for the session today. And a big hi to everyone who's watching us live. I hope everyone's up and awake and not sleeping like it's your college course. So just drop a hi in the chat. I can see all of you. And unlike Ananya and Sashrika and Samia, I don't have a lot of laurels and achievements to share. I just have a small story, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So I have a rather salty relationship with tech. I grew up with that, with the Dabba computers that we used to have in 2000. And I started with MS Paint on that. And we had Windows 98, I guess, back then. And that's how my journey with computers started. And till my 12th grade, I was sure that, I'm going to stick to computers and make sure that it's my best friend. And that's how I landed into computer science engineering. Now, most of you, I am not someone who can code 9 to 5. I'm not so, I would say, talented like these young ladies. So I found it absolutely boring to code 9 to 5. And, 2 years down the line in engineering, it was getting to my head. We were passing exams, seeing YouTube videos, and there were mandatory attendances, and we were made to cram code. And I was in a tier 3 engineering college back then. So that's how my journey started with computer science in college. So I was that irritated kid, that rebel kid who wanted to do something more. And I was absolutely frustrated with how the education was going for me, because it started with MS Paint, and I ended up learning Java. So I was like, what is happening? And after 2 years of computer science engineering, I actually decided to drop out of computer science engineering because I wanted to do something beyond coding. I wanted to be involved with products. I wanted to do something interesting. Cramming wasn't my thing, like we were taught in a tier 3 college. So I decided to do something interesting. So I decided to drop out of BTech and I joined another course, which was BSc Honors in Computer Science and Entrepreneurship. So currently, I am a CS and Entrepreneurship major, and as you can, assume from the name, it's much more exciting for me, for a student who cannot code 9 to 5. And so yeah, that's how my journey is currently going with tech. And again, unlike the other talented ladies, my journey has been salty with computer science. So I started working with startups straight away. I did not dive into any internships. I started working with a tech startup. So I used to go to college 9 to 5 back in my engineering days. And then I started working with a tech startup from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. I used to be working there. And straight away, I literally jumped to a part-time job because I also wanted to be financially stable, and I had that seal in me that I'm going to do something more than coding. So that's how my journey started. And about laurels and achievements, you can find that on my LinkedIn profile, of course. But coming to opportunities, I heavily support students and make them realize the importance of events, like Samia also covered. Make mistakes as much as you can, because if you don't make mistakes, if you don't submit wrong applications, you won't hit the right one. So my first ever conference was HPR Harvard in Malaysia. I was the first ever person in my family to actually get a passport and fly to somewhere else. So that was a different journey altogether. I flew to Malaysia at the age of 18. I gathered all the money from my part-time job and I just left. I was like, I'm going to get my own passport, I'm going to get my own visa, and I'm going Mumbai. So that's how the first conference for me happened. And my track was technology and innovation. And that's how I first heard the word tech and innovation together, which again, added to my decision of dropping out and taking up a different major, which is computer science and entrepreneurship. And that's how my journey really kickstarted, and how that idea came into my mind that there's a word like entrepreneurship outside. And that's how I actually made my mind to working with startups very early on at the age of 18. So That's about it. And I've been working with startups, especially in the tech domain since then. And I've been about to 4 to 5 odd international events, some on scholarships, some on my savings. So that's how my journey has been so far. I've actually visited 5 to 6 countries solo at the age of 18. I've financed them myself because my parents mostly couldn't, but I still used to steal some money from them to eat burgers and stuff. But yeah, that's how my journey has been, and happy to take questions you all might have. In case you want more details about me, you can visit dravisha.com. I recently developed it. Thank you for having me here.
So thank you, Dravisha, for sharing your story. So thank you, Dravisha, for sharing your story. And like you didn't like to do a 9 to 5 job, so you just quit your college and then enrolled into the next, other course. So that was really inspiring and a very new thing to do because it takes a lot of gut to to change the course directly and then succeed into the new thing which we are doing. That was really inspiring. Now, let's move on to have some questions. So I'll ask my question first to Ananya. So Ananya, I have seen you have participated in a lot of competitions like GSOC, Outreachy. So even though you are a student also, so like how do you manage your academics and the programs you have enrolled, like the projects for the GSOC or Outreachy? So how do you manage both things well? And what do you want to tell other guys, to like how to manage them together well?
Okay, so I guess this what you just asked was one of the biggest challenge I faced because my college IIIT per se is known for a very hectic academic curriculum. So it was always a challenge to sort of take time out for all these different internships or scholarships that I wanted to apply for. But my advice to people would just be that firstly, if you're really passionate that you want to do something and you just firstly you convince yourself that you can do it and you want to do it, it is always possible to take some consistent time out from your hectic schedule, no matter how hectic it is, to actually go ahead and apply to these things. So the first step of actually applying to all these things is being aware about these opportunities. So one suggestion for that would be to be more active on these different platforms like LinkedIn, or basically just sign up to newsletters of the different companies that you're interested in or the different scholarships that you're interested in, so that you'll get a notification once they're open. So once that opens, you usually have about say 1 month, or in case of outreach, in my case, you have a very long contribution period. So that goes on for almost 2 to 3 months. So once you know these timelines, you can sort of plan your schedule so that you can balance both academics and this thing. And I think the main key to these things is consistency. So it's not quantity that matters, but more the quality. So like don't so it's not about how many odds you apply to or how many how many contributions you make. Like just try to be more consistent with that and try to have quality tangible contributions which will actually make an impact and look good in your application when you finally apply. So yeah, and I think the first step is to just believe in yourself that you can do it, and just tell yourself that if you want to take time out for yourself and like do it. So even in my case, it was pretty challenging, especially I remember the outreachy contribution period was right from Jan to March, and that was when my classes were going on, and we had a lot of exams in between. We had a lot of projects, and 24/7 I had work. So I did find it really difficult to first manage my time, but then at that point, I knew I really wanted to get selected in outreach. I just wanted this so bad. So like I told myself that okay, I'll just try to set aside 1 hour every day to try to do this. And I did that consistently over 3 months. So like 1 hour over 3 months actually builds up to a lot. So like small contributions in like, in bits will actually seem a lot when you put it all together. So I think that you just have to start somewhere. You need to come out of your comfort zone, tell yourself you can do it and start somewhere. Start small and then just build up on that. And I think that's how we all start. We all have been there. I guess every other applicant is also a student like you, more or less. So, everyone has the same issue. So that really shouldn't be that much of a problem. So start small, believe in yourself, and like you will find the balance eventually. Like we all have done it, and so can you for sure.
Thank you for such an amazing answer, Ananya. So we have next question to Samia. What do you think that students should know, or like Do you want to give some tips on how to make our profile or ourselves stand out in a crowd of many skilled people, especially in the open source?
That's a really good question. It's very important to have a good online presence. Nowadays, we all are very much active on internet. Everyone is widely using LinkedIn. Everyone want to like if you want to show someone that okay, you have done these many things. It's very important to have a good portfolio of yourself. Like let's say I have participated in these competitions. I have participated in 10 number of competitions. I have been a scholar of many programs. But what if I haven't like created a good portfolio of myself? What if I haven't created a good LinkedIn profile? How will people know that okay, Soumya has done these many things? Like talking about the host of the session, let's say if Ankita approached me over LinkedIn, so how she knew that Soumya has done these many things? Because I have an online presence. I have created my profile. I have created my website. I have created these many things. That's why people got to know that okay, she is this person and she has done these many things, right? So this is very important to differentiate yourself from the crowd. There are so many students out there. Like there are so many students doing engineering. Everyone is doing their best, of course, but if you want to stand out of the crowd, obviously you need to have a good online presence, and somewhere your oratory skills, your communication skill, if you talk about interviews and all, so these things also matter. And yes, it's important to have a good online presence, as I said. And apart from that, obviously knowledge is most important thing. If you have good knowledge of a particular topic, of a particular domain which you want to get into, then obviously no one can stop you from getting success. No one can stop you from reaching where you want to reach. So all the best to everyone. Whatever they want to do, just go ahead and yeah, make your good presence on internet. It's very good to see yourself when you type in, like on Google, if you type your name and you see your profiles coming on the top, it's a great feeling, right? So yes, these are some tips for a good online presence. These are tips to stand yourself good, to stand yourself brighter in the crowd, right? Yeah.
So thank you, Soumya, for sharing your answer. Your online presence is really important because many of the recruiters also find us from online only, like from LinkedIn and from our websites and all. So I would like to ask similar question to Sashrika. So Sashrika, you have been mentor for many different competitions or clubs. So what is the some important things in a person's profile or person's personality, rather than other than technical skills, or what are the tips you want to give to get selected or to impress mentor?
So the first thing, so there are a lot of things that go when you think about the mentorship programs and scholarship programs, or if you're looking for an internship. I think it's not about impressing the other person. It's like more about what you want your profile to speak. So think of it this way: your profile is like your entire journey. It's your story. What is it that you want to present to the other person who like visits your profile? Let's say if it's a recruiter and you're looking for software roles, your profile should speak in such a way that okay, if you have some experience with computer science, or you have some experience with some projects, or if you want to go for a product design role, you have some experience in that domain. Whatever it is that it's your area of expertise, your LinkedIn profile should speak that way. And when we talk about the scholarship opportunities, or let's say mentorship opportunities, so let's first talk about the scholarship opportunities first. So if for the scholarship opportunities, what happens is that the scholarship reviewer who will come to your profile to see what all you have done will actually match your profile with the answers that you said. So basically, your profile and your answers should define the same story. If you are an advocate for women in tech, if you want to impact the women in tech community per se, your application and answers and your profile should speak the same thing. Be as descriptive as possible on your LinkedIn profile. It's like your own page to It's not, so there is something that we say in our I Am Remarkable workshop. I suppose most of you attended that, is that it's not bragging if it's based on facts. And that is something that I live by, because if it is the truth that you live by, it's not bragging at all. Mention that on your LinkedIn profile. Add all those laurels or colleges or any experiences that you have even. So go ahead, talk about it. If you think that you can write about it, writing is your passion, just go ahead and do it. If you think that speaking is something that you are probably good at, you might want to go ahead and take that challenge and speak in front of thousands of people, and get that thing done. If in any case you're not that expressive, you're not able to express yourself, go take a leap of faith. Go and try out something which you've never done before, and I promise you the experience will be exhilarating. Because post that, the feeling that you have about about creating a sense of confidence and instilling that sense of confidence in you, to apply for different programs, to see if this is something that is your forte or not, is all about defining yourself. Speaking about recruiters, or talking about other opportunities that you might want to avail, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of these are incredible platforms that if you use them correctly, they're so powerful that they can lead you to the right opportunities. I'll tell you something. When I applied for the MLH program, I didn't even know that MLH was going to hire in India. The reason that I applied to the program was I just went to a hackathon, I got myself a sticker, and in that sticker, it just read MLH. I came home, I researched about it, and I found out this is an organization which is based in US. It is something which is not even there in the APAC region yet. So basically, that opportunity does not even exist when I found out about it. And so what I did was I just, followed them on various platforms to see what they're up to, because they were in the hackathon domain, which I was interested in. So anything that you're interested in, try to find out those areas of interest and try to keep, follow those pages, follow their profiles to see what it is, what are the new ideas that they're working for. I remember networking with a couple of folks before MLH came to India to understand that, is this something that I really, really want to do? And I realized that they help community the same way that I want to. And they have a vision which upholds, to the standard of excellence, where you want to, present hackathons in a way which is empowering to folks all around. So this is something which I really believed in, and that is how I wanted to, go for this opportunity. So when you're looking for opportunities, the two advice that I would give you is, keep your profiles up to date, work on them if you haven't yet. It's an ongoing process. You can keep on continuing, to work on those profiles. And the second thing would be, join as many communities as possible. And the reason that I'm saying so is because whenever you feel afraid, or whenever you feel like not confident about all these things, there's a whole community out there to support you, to empower you, to help you out, and as much in any way as possible, and as much whatever allows them to help you out, they'll help you out. And these communities are a great way to know about and be aware about all those opportunities that you can avail. When I was in my first year, I didn't even know that I could apply to so many programs, and I missed out on them. But that's all right. I knew about them. I kept a reminder about them in my calendar. So when the deadline came the next year, I knew what to apply for. I knew where I wanted to go to. And so there's this thing that they say about interviewing and scholarship, applying to scholarships, is that whatever is your aim, like keep that aim in mind. But before that, keep applying to all the other opportunities that you get to. It's not just getting rejected from multiple opportunities. It's what Samia said. It's altogether an experience, the experience of applying. Those essay answers really define who you are. It gives you a lot of time to think and process all those feelings, all those experiences that you have, and understand what is it that your journey looks like, where it is going to take you forward. And once you apply to all those scholarship programs, even though if you get rejected, it gives you an idea about who you are and who you want to be. And once you apply to that particular program, opportunity, or scholarship, or anything else that you want to, which you really, really want to from the first year of your university, you won't get rejected. You feel so confident about all those skills because you've been doing it for so long. And even though you were rejected, you redirected yourself in a way that your answers reflected your experiences in a beautiful, beautiful speech of words, beautiful, you're basically. What I mean is, whenever you're trying to apply, just make sure that the story that you want to define is the same that you put into words. And that might take a lot of time. That might not come in the first go, but you want to keep on trying, keep on doing it, and keep on moving forward. And that is how you can make all those changes to your profile and your story.
Thank you, Sashrika, for such awesome tips for the applications. Next, we'll have Dravisha. So, Dravisha, as you have worked with various companies and sometimes you would have been the youngest member in the team too. So, what do you feel being the youngest member in the group and how it had impacted your work experience?
That's a very nice question. I think I love being the youngest member in team. So going back to the first startup I worked for, I was right at the end of my third semester. I was freshly into my second year of college, and obviously I was very underconfident being in a tier three college. So I used to just put myself down on my own. No one else had to do it for me. So that's how I was back then. But being the youngest member in the team has its own pros. So I was the only female member in the team. We were five students who had, founded a startup, and it was a tech startup into product design. So I was fairly new to this idea of product design back then. But my journey being the youngest member and also the only female in the team was amazing. Unlike most women have, I had very supportive members, and the founder himself mentored me and guided me throughout my journey with the startup. That was my, I think, longest stint thus far with the startup, because of how a team works, and especially when it comes to team culture matters a lot. So since I was very fresh to this perspective of product design in the startup, I experimented a lot. Like I said in my introduction, I was very hell-bent on making mistakes, and I had the opportunity to make mistakes. I was experimenting on different things. I was handling different things at that startup. I was learning how to pitch. I also pitched, to a client at 2 in the night because he was from US and there was no one I could ask whether I should pitch this or that. I had to make decisions on the spot and do it. There was fairly no one to back me at 2 in the night that, hey, this client is asking for a pitch. Should I go to the founder and ask him what should I do? So I was fairly also independent with my work. When I joined my first startup. So it's about you owning your place and owning your work. You shouldn't, if you feel that you're the youngest or you're the only female in the team, you shouldn't wait for someone to tell you what to do. Be ready to make mistakes and take the ownership in your own hands, right? So when you take ownership in your own hands, you should also be responsible for the mistakes you make and try and correct it. Because I think one of you mentioned that if you Google yourself up, there should be enough links that speak of you. And if you only have successes and not failures on those links, people cannot learn the most from you. People won't know that you have certain experience. People won't know what went into your successes. So I was very hell-bent on making mistakes and failing at different things in my first startup. But it was also an exciting journey for me. Some of the challenges I faced was I was very afraid to say no. So I learned how to say no to things that I can't do, or are not from my domain or might not even help me in my career. I learned how to say no and say yes to things that are beyond my comprehension, beyond my capabilities. So I expanded those and I learned to say no. Second was definitely speaking of my mistakes. So I started speaking about them in the form of my journey at my first startup very actively on LinkedIn. So it's important you convey these out there. So that was one challenge I overcame myself. And I think third would be communication skills. I was very shy of speaking. There are five men in the team who are also engineers, and they were fairly senior to me. Half of them were about to graduate. I was just in my second year. So I used to feel very shy, talking with the team, sharing my ideas as a female in the team. But then they also gave me space to speak, right? So if you have a positive environment in a company and then they make you speak and they let you drive decisions, you get confidence on your own. So that was something I had to overcome. I had to overcome my shyness of speaking and putting my decisions put forward. So these were some of the few challenges I overcame, and definitely would also help others also. And it's just that don't hesitate from facing your fears, facing your mistakes. Make sure you face them as much as you can so as to be an expert at it. So that's how my experience was working with my first startup ever.
So thank you, Dravisha, for sharing. And I would like to add one quote that I have heard somewhere. So there was this quote that says, when you make mistake, just tell to other people. Don't defend yourself, because it makes you more human. That humans are tend to do mistakes. So it's fine if you do mistakes. Don't just defend yourself every time you do mistakes. So that's what you said. So thank you so much for sharing your answer. Now let's move on to our next question. So next question will be for Soumya. So, Soumya, as you have participated in, many open source program, as you have said, and you are also mentor for Girl Script Summer of Code. So, I would like to, ask you a question where, mentor communication is really important. We have to communicate with mentor. For example, especially in the competitions, where your chances of getting selected is very high on based on your communication with your
So I guess the internet issue is from her side. Like the question was hanging a lot. So as per my guess, she want to ask me that how much communication is important when we talk to our mentors in open source communities. So if that is the question, I hope yeah that is the question. So yes,
Yeah.
communication play a very important role. Not only in open source communities, I should say everywhere. You should have the capability to express what you are thinking. You should be able to tell the people what is your point of view. It's not must to be a very strong, very good English speaker. Just in any language, whatever you are comfortable in, you should be able to convey your message, that what you think about that particular topic. And even if you are asking doubts, even if you are asking questions to your mentors, you should know how to put your question. Like your a question, there is a quote, very sweet quote, that is a question well explained is half solved. So if you ask questions in a good way, if you put your questions in a well explained and brief manner, so that is half solved, I must say. So yes, of course, as you asked the question, Ankita, that is communication important? So yes, that is important. Not only in open source organization, it's important everywhere. Whether you are going to give any technical interview, whether you are going to just keep your point of view somewhere, yes, that is important, because that is how people understand what your point of view is, what you want to convey. So yes.
Thank you so much, Soumya. Next question would be to Ananya. So, Ananya, can you share some insights, like from your mentoring session, from mentoring experiences? Like, what are the common mistakes students make and things that they miss out, something that they need to do, and like, do you have some tips that want to give them?
Sure. So basically, I think my whole mentoring journey, it has not just been, just me mentoring the students, but even I have got to really learn and grow from the mentoring experience. So I think one common mistake, it's not just the students we are mentoring, but which we also do all the time, is we are always afraid to ask questions. Like, there is this whole imposter syndrome thing, as one of the panelists mentioned. Like, we all feel we're not good enough, and we all just keep self doubting ourselves when it is absolutely not necessary at all. So I think the first step in working towards an open source community is to really just step out of your comfort zone and start asking questions. Because the first time, yes, it's always very scary, especially when you have such huge code bases and developers from all across the world, and you're just a beginner who really doesn't know what is happening. So initially, to even just go and introduce yourself on that community channel, it is daunting at times, and we all have been there. But I think the first step is to just ask questions. Don't self doubt or self brand yourself that this may be a naive question, this may be something unnecessary, will anyone judge me, and so on. Because I think so. I had been at both the intern side and the mentor side. So as an intern, even I did, think that maybe I shouldn't ask this question. Will people judge me? But then as a mentor, I realized that, nobody really will judge you. Like if you ask a question, the worst thing that can happen is the person does not know the answer and they don't answer it, right? So either you get your answer or you don't get an answer. And as a mentor, one will always try to help you out. So there is nobody who will judge you. There is nobody who will just basically judge you because it's a stupid question or brand you that way. So just don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because I think open source, that's one really positive thing that I've seen. It's a very safe community to ask questions, get help, and network with people, and really form good connections that you can reach out to anytime you need any kind of help. So this is one mistake students do. And I think the whole mentoring experience, especially for GCI, was a really refreshing one, because we had students of the mere age of 13 to 15 come and work with us. So they were just high school students, and they just brought this whole refreshing, positive energy to our organization. They were so enthusiastic to learn and work, and it felt great to really help them out step by step. And I think any mentor who has reached that mentor stage will be able to, put themselves in your shoes and actually understand what you're going through. So they will be more than glad to really help you and guide you step by step. And once if you are able to get your code merged, it gives us mentors as much joy as you get. So, just don't be afraid to get started. It is difficult to get started, especially when everything seems so, daunting out there. But then you have to start somewhere. So don't self-doubt yourself. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There is nobody who's going to judge you. I think surround your, and the whole open source community is wonderful, and everyone's more than willing to help you. So yeah, I think just, go out and ask questions and you can do it. So yeah, I guess that's my take on this question.
Yeah, so thank you, Ananya. As you have said, most of us can relate, while talking in online community, like any Discord server or any online community where we, talk with our mentors directly on the group, where other people are also looking at our answers and all. So yeah, we do get imposter syndrome, and most of us can resonate with this. So thank you for sharing your answer. Now my next question is for Dravisha. So Dravisha, you have versatile skill set. So you help with business strategies, then project management, and then also you do work for mental health also. So what are the events or what are the things that led you to that to led you to enhance your skill set or to be advanced in your skill set?
So, like I said, I was that rebel kid. So even though I love computer science, I always wanted to do beyond that, right? So in my first year, I was, scouting for internships and scouting for what interests me a lot. And I couldn't point to my finger on one thing. I used to go to internshala in different platforms altogether and scout for internships, because unlike my seniors, I was hell-bent on landing something in my first year itself and not in my third or fourth year of engineering. So I was like, why not start working from the very first year itself? So I was lucky enough to land a few internships in my first year as well. Now by internships, I mean not some really nice internships, I mean I used to do campus ambassadorship and content writing internships that paid me $1,000. That's it. That was my first year, right? So now I decided, okay, is this really going to help me in my career? My answer was straight no. I left all of them midway and I decided that I want to do something of my own. I want to take my idea forward in mental health. So I started with my initiative called IDA in my first year, which was to counsel people who were suffering from mediocrity, low mental health issues, and direct people who are severely affected with mental health issues to, psychologists or therapists as and when they required. So that was my take on my idea that I need to help people who are facing mental health issues, because I was often observing students, who are sitting at the corners of a class or who are not talking to people, who are introverts. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with them, because even I was one. I never had a good friend circle or was that social in my friend circle back then. So I was like, what if, who's going to help people like these who face who are just maybe depressed for no reason? Maybe they just want a hearing ear. Maybe they want just someone to talk to them. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be that person and work on my own initiative. Might as well gain some skills. I learned how to write content. I learned how to manage a team. I learned how to run a social media page. I learned some Instagram marketing, and I learned how to even like get on LinkedIn and share my story, because had I not started this initiative, I had nothing to share. I would be just sharing some Coursera certificates that everyone else does. So that's how I kickstarted exploring my own field on my own, rather than depending on external internships and projects. So it's like, if you have an initiative in your mind or an idea in your mind, just go and start it. I didn't know how will I do it. I didn't know how will I reach out to people who might need my help in mental health, in the domain of mental health, etc. I was absolutely clueless, but then I decided to leave those stupid internships I was doing, and also to own my idea, believe in it, and go forward with it, because it's better to do something that's underpaid than to I'm sorry, it's better to do something of your own than to do something that's underpaid, because it's going to make you explore so many field and expertise that you're going to be astonished. You're going to realize that, oh my god, I like this, I like that. And that's how I discovered what I like. So that was my experience of uh, playing around with different interests and expertise, and that's how I decided that, okay, I like marketing and I like user experience. And again, I found my love for user experience just 2 years back, when I was working with that product design startup. So I realized that I love working on websites. I love designing the user flow for it. I love making unique websites. I hate coding. Like I said, I was a rebel kid. I still am, I guess. But yeah, that's how I started with a diverse skill set, because I decided to not go for something cliche. I decided to take the road less taken. I decided not to go for the mediocre CS student life, and I decided I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna take the road less taken. So I think if you do that, you will also be able to discover different interests for yourself, and you'll be astonished as to what you love. So make sure you do that.
Thank you so much, Dravisha. Next, would like to ask Sashrika. Sashrika, as you said that you have participated in like various programs, you have been a WTM scholar, you have been a mentor, and at the same time, you have also been an intern at Flipkart. So, how did you manage to like manage all the things together, and what are the key things you learned from all of these?
Sure. So first I'll answer the management part of it, and then I'll move on to the second half of the question. So the first part, like managing all of this together. So as a student, you have your college studies to pursue, you have your exams, and then you are also participating in these programs, and you're also doing in the interview preparation. If you are a big fan of hackathons, just like I am, you are spending your weekends at a different hackathon, working your way through the products, and building something each weekend, or trying out a different project if you want to learn a new skill. So what I used to do was I used to manage my week ahead. I still do. And I am still trying to work my way through being as productive as possible through my tasks. So defining goals is, I think, what is the most important part of your entire schedule when you're working your entire year. So long-term goals and short-term goals, both are very important. And I've seen a lot of folks talk about this, and they give a lot of they give great advice when you're working your way through managing all your stuff together. So the last year was a little different than what we usually expect our semester to go with, because last year we faced a pandemic. We are still in our homes, and we are working through homes, so everything kind of just collided all together. But talking about both of those scenarios, In the offline setup, what I used to do is I used to complete everything that I wanted to for a given section in the same place and just move on to the next. For example, if I have some college project going on, I used to make sure that it is something which I just when I exit my college gates, that is something I don't have to worry about at all. That is something that's the back of my head, and I don't have to worry about until I come back there the next day. If I'm working in an intern program, I just go there. So Flipkart was my first professional internship program where I was working with an organization this big. But I used to do a lot of internships back then with a few startups to learn new skills and work my way through them. So I had these experiences before, which actually helped me gain that momentum. And when I was working with my Flipkart internship, the funny thing is that my internship collided with my external major exams and at the same time my interview prep classes. So it was like a whole bunch of things all together. So how I used to manage my time was I used to divide the sections of my day to devote it to a particular thing so that I can actually stay productive at that particular segment. For example, if I'm working if I have a class at this particular time where I have to like focus on interview prep, any time beyond that is totally focused on interview preparation. I'm working on data structures and algorithms. I'm working on my development projects if I want to, something which is for my personal benefit, for my interviews or something like that. I during my day I used to work for my internship, and in my exams were usually something which was hosted from the 4 to 6 p.m. period, so that was completely blocked off. I used to also make sure that I have some time left for my own self so that I can, sit, talk to my friends if I want to, take a break. I like to doodle. So I used to like to travel a lot, which was not possible the last year. So I used to find different ways to, pursue different hobbies and do something which is for my own self so that it gives me a little peace of mind and I'm not stuck in this entire loop of rat race and I'm going on and on and on and working till the point I'm burnt out. I did feel a lot of burnout at a certain point of time, but that was because everything was mingled all together. And that's when my manager helped me out, and he told me to, take a process, make a routine, and stick to that routine. Anything that you want to do, go ahead and do that. Past few weeks, I've been trying a different thing. Earlier, I used to use Google Calendar to manage all my stuff. Right now, I'm using Trello board to, manage the same thing. I'm trying out a different thing. I'm not sure if it will work out in a brilliant way or if this is the best idea that I can give you out there. But what I mean is just take a process, whatever works for you. If Google Calendars is your thing, if marking goals, or if you want to go the traditional way like I do, is write everything down to ensure that all your tasks are in one place, go ahead and do that. Any scholarship that you think is something which is like very beneficial for you, and by chance you miss the deadline that year, don't worry, it will be there in the next year as well. Just keep a deadline reminder in your phone so that the next year you don't have to worry about tracking everything down. It's just a reminder that pops up on your phone, and you know that you have to apply for this particular opportunity because that is something that you want to do. So all of this all together helps you to be on top of things and be productive in your own environment, and helps you stay focused on the particular section that you're working at. So if you're working on your skill, if you're working on an internship, just focus on that particular thing. Multitasking is great, but don't do it at a point that will burn you out and you don't know what to do next, right? So anything that you want to do, divide it up into sections and then work your way through it. University is important, your internships are important, your experiences are important. And the most important part of all of this is there are folks out there to help you. There are seniors who went through the same thing that you're going through right now. So just reach out to them, talk to them, have your own trust circle, right? Just so that whenever you're feeling confused or you're feeling, where you're feeling that you don't know how to manage all this stuff, or you don't know where to put, which one to prioritize and which one not to, you have someone to talk to. You have your trust circle to reach out to. You have your mentors who you can talk to and take advice from. Prioritize your work in a way that this is something that needs to be done within this month, and that means that I need to find some time to do it however I have to. And if there's something which is something that you can delay it a little, just don't procrastinate a lot. But if you want to delay something a little, move it to the next one. So this is how management your skills work, and this is how you learn all those management skills to keep on top of things. And the second part of the question, I'm sorry, can you please repeat what was the second half of the question that you wanted to ask, Sangeeta?
Yeah, second part of the question was basically we wanted to ask, like you have interned with Flipkart, you have also been a GCI mentor, and you have also participated in various hackathons as a student. So what are all these feelings altogether, and what did you learn from them?
Sure. So all these feelings all together, I mean, it's so I've got two words for them. It's like this a lot. There's a lot of inspiration that goes around all of these programs. It's a lot inspiring, but at the same time, it is empowering, is what I believe. After going through all of these programs, you have a sense of belief that there's nothing out there which you cannot achieve. There's nothing out there which you cannot do if you set your mind to it. Even if you get rejected, there's something out there which might be much more beneficial for your own journey rather than this program. And so you might want to work your way towards that. So it's not like you don't want to feel sad after rejection. Give yourself a day, but dust that thing off and just come back the next day to go about and try out a different thing. So the learnings that I had from all of these programs was, not everything would go according to plan. Not everything would go according to how you wanted to go in a way, or not everything would be going with the same pace that you wanted to. But that's all right, because you're not in a race with the entire world. Like, this is not something that somebody else has to do first, and then okay, you missed it and you can't do it anymore. You can do it anytime you want to, and you can take that leap of faith. You can try out something which you've never tried out before and see if this is something that you like. So when I was working as an intern in Flipkart, I earlier was a huge fan of developing Android applications. I did not like website at all, but I had to work on a web app with React, and that is something that I had to do. And I realized that it was not just something which I didn't like. It was something which I didn't get a chance to pursue in a way which is interesting to me. So when I was in Flipkart and I was trying to build an app using React, I realized that this is also something which is very interesting. I've never done React. I've never coded in React before, and that was the first time that I tried that. So my mentor was like, "Don't worry, you'll be fine. I believe in you." And that sense of belief that someone else had in me, is what helped me, go all in with that and try out React for the first times. And I finished my internship, I finished my application, and got a PPO. And that was only because somebody else realized that you have that potential, then you realize that you have that potential, and then you leap forward. But not every time you'll get that external validation, right? When someone else would have that belief in you. And that is the point where you have to believe in yourself, that yes, you can do this, because this is something that you've been doing all together. And after learning React, I realized the basis of all development frameworks is practically the same. Whatever you're trying to build in Android applications, you can do using React, you can do using other frameworks. All you need to do is learn the syntax, learn the different fundamental pieces of that particular framework, so that you know how it works. And it's pretty easy once you transition from one thing to another. So just try it out once. Don't give up on the first base, and reach out to mentors to ask questions is a great experience that I had from Flipkart. Flipkart was incredible in a way that my mentors were so amazing that even late at night when we used to reach out to them, I was like, okay, we're stuck at this thing and we need a lot of help because, oh my God, this is not working out the way that we wanted it to. They used to come up and help us out and be there for us. They know that a lot of coders out there in India work late nights instead of early mornings, and that's completely fine. The schedule was so flexible that we could do it with our own in our own pace, and that was the best part of it. Working our way through mentorship programs is what I believe, asking the right questions. And even if you don't know what the right questions are, asking questions about their experiences might help you understand what is it that you want out of your journey. So I remember asking a lot of questions to my mentor in Goldman Sachs and mentors from Google to ask them, okay, this is something that I'm stuck at. What do you think I should do? Should I go ahead and learn this particular segment, or should I go ahead and apply to this program? Or is this the right way for me to go to? And if not, my mentor was so keen and kind enough, they would call me out on it. And Sashrika, is this what you really want to do? Or are you just going towards that particular segment because it feels fascinating to you right now? And you might hate it later because that is not who you are. And that gives me a lot of time to think. So whenever I'm writing my essay answers too, I love that particular process, is because it gives me a lot of realization on what I want to do as an individual, and then gives me a lot of learning experiences to share and also to apply to my own life as well. So when I'm working with Flipkart, I have these kind of learnings, and I'm working through these mentorship programs. I ask too many questions. I apologize if I'm bugging them a lot, but I ask too many questions. And when I tackled my imposter syndrome to go out and then achieve all of these things, and transition to the face, I realized that this is something which is not faced by just me, by a lot of folks out there. And once I started talking about it to in community events, talking about it to different people, I realized it helps me to overcome that. It helps other people because they get inspired and they overcome that. So I mean, just go ahead and talk about your journey, listen to other experiences, learn from their experiences, because that is how you're going to go faster. Since if you were here with us on day one, you might have heard Bani the and Nidhi ma'am to talk about how their experiences, how talking about their experiences and listening to others' experiences have shaped their career journeys. And I mean, that is so inspiring, right? Because that is what makes you believe in the power of community. Once you network and connect with many individuals to learn of what they've been through, this is something that you can apply to your life as well, and you don't have to feel all alone in this entire process. You can go all together, you can feel empowered, and you can continue your way through it. So all of these learnings is something which is a really great part of your own lifestyle as well. And speaking of other scholarship programs or MLH as in general, if you talk about our hackathons per se, learn from experiences is absolutely important. So if I talk about hackathon experiences, I had so attending many hackathons is not the goal here. Attending one hackathon but learning so much from it is the entire goal. It's like the quality of it. So once you go to a hackathon, make sure that you are actually talking to a lot of folks, to the experienced hackers out there, to talk to them about their experiences, how they created their first project, how they built, how they came up with the idea, and how they went beyond that to take that project forward even after the hackathon ended. What was it that inspired them to use that particular idea? And what was it that inspired them to use that particular technology? It'll give you a lot of idea on what you want to do in your career in tech, right? And it'll also give you great power to network and ask many questions to them once you are in that process of it. So all of these are great learnings which you can apply to your life. And I would say there are two things that I always say, and I would like to say them now as well, that don't be afraid of applying at all. Something which is like the brief overview of the entire topic that we were discussing here. And the second one would be that network as much as possible. And I'm not saying just network, to just connect with many folks on LinkedIn. No, that is not the goal here. The goal here is to build connections, to build relationships, so that whenever you reach out to someone and ask for help, they are ready to do so for you. And don't just be that person who reaches out for help. Help out other folks in the community too. If there is something which you can give back to the community, do that. Take that step and be there for the community when you want to. Take part in those programs, basically apply for programs where you can mentor and help out another folk who's just starting. Let's make this community a lot more easier for folks to enter into, and so that anyone who first comes in and is in the first year of engineering, they don't have to feel scared at all. They don't have to just come in there and just take their pick on all the different experiences that they have to learn from, and then decide what they want to do with their lifestyle. They don't have to figure out all those things, because we did that part for them, and we are very, very keen on sharing that experiences with the next generation so that they can build upon that and work their way through it. So I mean, this is something that I want to advise to all of the folks who are listening to us right now, and all of the folks who just join in this conversation. But I mean, this is something incredible that you can do for the community once you give back.
So thank you, Sashrika, for sharing your answer. And first thing I would like to say is that I have been doing that. So maintaining a to-do list for a particular day helps a lot. It definitely increases your productivity, because our brain is all over the places every day. So we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to attend lectures and many more things. So maintaining a to-do list really helps me a lot, and I think most of the folks can relate to that also. And I would like to ask a very small question to you about the thing you have said for the Flipkart that you have been doing internship, and you worked on first time you worked on a React application. So I was just wanted to ask that suppose if students who are doing a React development, and he or she gets into gets selected for the internship in particular company, and has to work in Android. So what do you suggest other people maintain a particular tech stack, or just be very good in data structures and algorithms and problem solving. So like, what will be your pick, development or like data structures and algorithms and problem solving?
Sure. So I think this question can also be related to the fact that why data structures and algorithms are asked in your interviews and not questions based on your developer experiences. And the reason that happens is that data structures and algorithms are the basis of your computer science foundation. So whenever you're working your skills on your development skills or any other language that you want to, data structures and algorithms is like the basic foundation, which as a computer science student, you should know. And when you're working in a company, you might be paired with a team which is working on React, or you might shift to another team which is working on Java, or let's say you shifted to another team altogether once you are working in a company and they are working on machine learning or Python. I mean, you will as a developer who's just starting their journey, you won't know React completely, or you won't know let's say Android application development at first, or you might not have any experience in machine learning. And so all of that might be a lot of confusing. So the reason that the companies do the data structure algorithms interview is because they want to keep the basis fair and equal to everyone, and at the same time know that whatever team that they put you in, those basics of those foundational basics would be something that will help you out when you're working and trying out something very different from your domain in that particular company. So as I said, I was someone who was very comfortable with Android, and I was put into a team which was working in React, and I had to learn that framework all over again. My mentor was really great, as I said, and what he told me was there are two ways of learning a different framework entirely, or actually not two, three ways of learning a different framework entirely. The first one would be you go through all the tutorials, understand and watch a lot of videos, see a lot of documents, and then understand how that particular framework works. The second way would be build a mini project with that same framework, with the features that you want to implement in your application, and just work on that on the particular front. That don't focus on anything else, just focus on what you need and then use that. It'll save you a lot of time, of course. The third way is just trial and error. So find out a tutorial, use that in your application. If it doesn't work out, try something else. It's an iterative sort of way. For me, the second way worked out the best. You build a mini project, you understand the framework, saves you a lot of time, and then finally, when you're implementing that in your own application, it works because you understand the framework through your mini project, and that is something which we call the hackathon way of doing things. In a 48-hour, you're building a small mini project to present to everyone out there. So it's like building a small project in that particular framework from the same skills that you have learned, let's say in Android, or let's say you're transitioning from React to Android. Now in React, you have build a feature where you have to make a button and you have to get those text lines in and then send the data to the backend through an API. You have to do that. The same things are something that you can do using the Android applications. Only the difference is the language, the framework, the type of way that you write the code. But the foundation, that remains the same. And so when you're working your way through both the things, all you need to understand is that the foundation is the same. So you need to understand that framework. And in order to do so, a mini project might be the best way that can help you out, learn a different framework, and you won't be scared to do so either. Also, be very clear about these things with your mentor or your manager when you're working in a company, so that they understand that you are in the learning phase of things and you will take some time. If you'll just commit to something and that, okay, I'll finish this in a day, but you have no idea how to do it, it might lead to a lot of problems, because then you will not be, completing your commitments, and you'll not be standing up to those commitments of what you started off with. And this is something that you won't want in an internship experience or a full-time experience per se. So when you're doing so, be very open with your manager. Explain to him that, okay, I have no idea about React. I've not worked on that before, but I am pretty sure that I can figure it out, because it's like I've seen it and it's a similar way what I've done in the past. So I'll learn through it. I'll ask questions if I have, and then I'll reach out to you about the timeline on how we can roll this feature up until production. I worked on an app in Flipkart that was rolled out to the production, and I didn't even know React at the beginning. So in 2 months, I built an application that did that. And the only reason that I was able to do that, because I was very clear with my manager about what my skill set is, how I need to go beyond that, and what I need to work in. So both of us sat down, had a step-by-step timeline of how to do things, how to learn and work through it. I also had a partner with me, an intern partner. So he was working on the back end, I was working on the front end part of it, and we were working on connecting the APIs together. So it was very important for us to work in that virtual setup and complete that particular segment. So it was really important for us to stick to that timeline so that every one of us is working and we can reach our idea to the production. So once you're doing that, it is very important to be as communicative as possible and as descriptive as possible about your skills and your work, and then work your way forward through them. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Ankit. I'm not sure if that is my internet that's lagging or if folks are still able to hear me.
It's not your internet. I think we lost her. We can wait for a few seconds.
Yes.
Sure, no worries.
I guess she's having some network issue. She's not able to speak. So our next question would be to Ananya. And I would like to ask you that as you have done various scholarships and various taking part in various programs, so do you have any point in your mind that you want, like, any budding girl who want to apply for the scholarship should know about this? Like anything you thought of that if you have known it before the scholarship, it would have been much better.
Okay. So my experience with this whole thing and what I learned the hard way was that everybody fails, and everybody goes through rejection, and one or two setbacks is not something that we should really think about so much, and we should just keep going, because I think in that school phase, in that JE phase, we all have more or less always been like these top students, and we're always used to topping. And in school, everything is very clear. Like, you have to study and you have exams to give, and everything is kind of laid out very easily for you. But then once you transition into that college phase, everything is more of an own initiative you do, which, it depends on how proactive you are and what you want to do for yourself and the path you want to create for yourself. So I guess at this stage, things do tend to go out of hand at first. And at first, even I did get affected a lot by failures like everyone else. And so talking about my failure journey, I did apply to outreach in my first year as well. So I did not get selected this time. But I would say that it was my whole experience of this first year application that subsequently led to my selection in the second year. So after being through this whole journey, I would just like to tell everyone that, failure is something we all go through and it is inevitable. And just remember that with every rejection and every failure, you just get to know more about the flaws in you and the things that you need to improve on and the things that are actually expected to get selected. So think of every failure as an opportunity and don't let that, affect you in any way, because I do strongly believe that, everything happens for a reason, and at the end of it, everything will be fine. Like, if you believe in your hard work and you continue working hard, like, at the end, you will get the end result and you will get what you want. So don't worry about the end result in your journey. So this is one more thing. Like, don't think about the final result or where you'd end up or, whether you'd get selected or not, but just, believe in your effort, trust your effort, and just keep going. Don't let small setbacks affect you in any way, because we all face that and it is totally okay. Take every single opportunity that comes in your way. Don't question yourself. It's okay. Like, worst come, say you apply to a program or a scholarship. So there are two possibilities. Either you get it or you get rejected. So if you get it, that is amazing. And if you get rejected, you get to know why you got rejected and what you can improve on yourself. On the other hand, if you hadn't applied as well, then you are at a loss either way, because you don't, you may think that, I could have got selected, or like you don't even know like what you could change the next time so that you can get selected. So just be proactive, apply to all the opportunities that come your way, grab every opportunity that you see, and trust your effort, as everyone said, and just also, I think one more thing that I would like to add is just as how Sashrika mentioned, it's the community and the kind of impact the community can have on you. So I think this whole journey is as such so stressful. So, if you surround yourself with like-minded, positive people who are also in the same journey as you, it really makes the whole thing less stressful for you. So, surround yourself with positive people who are also, same passionate, just like you, who are determined just like you, and try to network more, try to form that positive community so that you are all there to lift each other up, and you can be there for your friends when they need them, and you also have people to like cheer you on when you need that the most. And I think that just really helps, and that just really matters. So coming to opportunities, there are just so many opportunities today, and there are so many women-centric programs and gender-neutral programs. So there are plenty of opportunities. So don't wait for anything. Don't doubt yourself. Just go and apply for all of them. Because I think this is one thing I regret not doing, because I used to be very hesitant to apply for something. Like, I would question myself that, am I good enough? Will I get it? Like, I think this is one thing we should all stop doing. Just go ahead and apply, because as I said, the worst thing, you don't get it. So you get to learn why you didn't get it. And then if you get it, it's wonderful. So yeah, just believe in yourself and grab every opportunity that comes your way. I guess this is what I would like to advise to my children.
So thank you so much, Ananya, for sharing your answer. And now let's move on to our next question. And my next question will be to Dravisha. So, Dravisha, as you have started, very early in your age, like you were just 18 and you went out in another country to work, and then you also started your own startup, and you have a lot of works, you work on many different fields. So, like, how do you manage your, social gatherings or social life, friends, family gatherings, and your work? So, like, anything or any tips you would like to give to students or other people who wants to do some same?
Thanks for that lovely question. So, like you said, I started working at the age of 18. And back then, I didn't have a lot of friends in my engineering college. So, I used to be that student that used to hang out at libraries or at the canteen. But then my life turned upside down when I visited Malaysia, my first ever international conference by Harvard in Asia. So, there I was in a room full of 600 people, and I was in a position that I suddenly had to, change myself from being an introvert to an extrovert. And you wouldn't believe it, it just transformed how I looked at social gatherings or making friends or even networking. I mean, at the end of the conference, each and every person who knew who Dravisha was. And that completely changed me as a person. I realized that it's useless to be that kid who gets A plus in all your courses, but then it's on you. How do you balance those grades and your work and events and your work life with your social life, right? Because I used to be that student who used to be so anxious that if I miss one test or if I score bad in one single test that was conducted in a class, I used to get so anxious and sad the whole day. I used to get really depressed. I was coming from that background in academics to today where I'm like, it's okay. I missed it, or I got, I scored something bad because, it was luck, even though I prepared, etc. But then I make sure that I do not let these, decisions in academics or be it work to affect me socially, or even, affect me how I engage with others, or even how I find time for others. It's okay. I might have an exam tomorrow, but there might be a friend who needs me today because he or she is feeling extremely depressed. So I learned the hard way actually to find time for my social engagements. I in fact started a Delhi meetup for LinkedIn students, and I used to meet every weekend. I used to invite I think 10 or 12 students. I rolled out a form on LinkedIn, and suddenly there were 200 registrations out of nowhere. I didn't expect so many students would be interested to meet me outside in a cafe and discuss, just to sit together, share our learnings, and, discuss what we want in the future so that, we could help each other and learn from each other's learning. So I decided to hold these meetups, and I used to meet 10 to 12 students every weekend in CP, and that's how I actually took the social engagement in my hand. From being to the student who is, very socially introvert and hesitant of making friends, talking to people, to being someone who was actually hosting meetups, meeting new students. I actually, in fact, traveled from Delhi to Gurgaon once only to meet a student who was requesting to see me at Cyber Hub just so that we could chat. What do we want in career? How has the journey been so far? And to my surprise, we're actually really good friends today. So I have actually gone beyond my own boundaries to engage with others, network, and most importantly, make friends. So a lot of people think that, just because you're career conscious, you don't have to spend time with your family, you don't have to spend time with your friends, you don't have to network a lot because I'm going to get A plus in all my courses, I'm going to ace everything, and I'm going to land up in an MNC or a Big Four, and that's my ideal definition of success. Well, hey, I'm going to break your bubble. It's not. So it's about balancing your work life and social life. It's about accepting failures in either and make sure you're okay with it, and you make sure that how exactly do you want to compensate with those failures, be it not being there for a friend or be it getting a zero on a class test. So that's how actually I learned the hard way of balancing either.
That was really amazing to hear. Next, the session would have been very engaging till now, and we have some questions in our comment box. So, Vishal need to ask that how can we improve our communication skills? As an introvert, he faces a lot of challenges while communicating with others. So, this is a question to Sashrika ji.
Sure. So to improve, so it's not like as an introvert you lack in your communication skills. Introvert is just you have a difficult way of expressing in a certain set of environment. Like for example, if you are not able to express yourself while speaking, write about your journey, write about what you can go through. So pick your form of communication, and if you want to focus on one particular of improving it, I would say put yourself out there. Don't be scared. So when I used to be in my school, like very early, I used to face a lot of issues, speaking up on stage or just speaking up in public in general. And my teacher, she gave me an opportunity, like a very short speech to just go ahead and speak up on stage. And I had to like do it in front of like a short group of 20 people, like very small per se when you think about large assembly groups that we have in our schools. So what I used to do was I first used to practice among myself, then I used to practice in front of two people, and then my confidence increased a little bit, and then I used to go and practice in front of like a bigger group of friends, let's say 5 to 6 people who I actually know and who will help me out. And then finally on the day off, I used to go ahead and give my speech. So that was the first experience, my first experience with public speaking when I tried that. And I've seen that strict work in a lot of ways with not just my communication skills, but the way I express in general. Start out with a small group, speak in front of them, and then move on to a bigger segment. So you don't have to, go ahead and express out in a way which is way out of your comfort zone. You just have to like step a little out, give yourself that little nudge and push, and ask a mentor if you want to, and take help from them if you want to do that. Communication skills are a great way. You have the communication skills, something which you really need while networking or while talking to other folks to actually represent what you want to say. And if you face a lot of challenges with that, I would say start small. Don't go big. Like, don't go in a room full of 100 people and then say, okay, now I'm going to try it out. And at that point of time, you might face and tremble and face a lot of issues with that. Start small. Start with a small group of people. Like, for example, Dravisha said. So what she did was she went out, hosted a meetup group, met some folks, and then talked around about their story. So, like, host a small meetup group, let's say 20 folks who come in, and then you just sit and chat, like, really casually, like you do with your friends. Then you go up on a bigger platform and then try to talk to them about, what you want to talk about, ask questions. And finally, when you're in a community event, just make sure in the next community, that's the challenge I'm going to give you. Make sure in the next community event that you done, even if it's virtual or if it's, something which is in person, whatever that might be, you'll make a target of reaching out to 2 folks. Just go ahead and reach out to 2 folks and ask a simple question, whatever you want to know about in your career, like whatever that might be, but just like that's a target list. You reach out to 2 folks and you'll connect with them on LinkedIn. And you'll keep in touch with them, answer if they need any help, you'll answer their questions and they can answer you. You can do that. But for now, just make it a target that in the next community event, you'll take it up on your own self to reach out to two folks and then talk to them about your experience or ask them one particular question. Might be the same question for both the folks. Doesn't matter what you ask. You just get out of that bubble, get out of your comfort zone just a little, and you'll feel a lot more confident talking to others when you are in a community event, in an informal setup, or in a event where you have to speak publicly. So start small and build upon that is what I'd say would help you.
That was really great to hear. Now as this is the occasion of Women's Day, we all have some women in our life who has inspired us for like what we are today. So, starting with Soumya, I would like to ask you all about the most awesome women of your life who has inspired you to become what you today are.
For me, each and every woman, like all the women who are here on the screen, all these women are really very inspiring. Each and every woman is inspiring in herself. For me, the first lady is of course my mother, my mom. I hope she would be listening this. I send the link in the I send the link to her on WhatsApp. I hope she would be listening to me. So yes, mom, you are very special. You are very inspiring for me. The way she handled everything very strongly, very beautifully is really awesome. That is really outstanding. And yes, apart from my mom, she is really the first lady in my life. Because of her, I am here. So yes, and all the ladies, like whoever I watch, be it on LinkedIn, be it on Twitter, I feel inspired to see each one of them, how they are overcoming the challenges of their life, how they are managing the personal and the professional life. It's really beautiful to see, and each one of us, everyone is special and inspiring. So happy Women's Day to all of us. And yeah.
Next, the same question is for Ananya.
So yeah, completely agree with Samia. I guess every single girl out here, every single woman out here is so inspiring and so talented in her own way. And I think as girls, when we see another woman do well, there's that instant connection, and we feel so proud of each other. And it's a wonderful community, it's a wonderful support group. And I'd say even for me, I would say my mom and grandmom have been the most inspiring people in my life. So my mom was a working mom. So, she, the amount of multitasking every woman can do, I think this is one thing that a woman can do and a man can't. Like, be it by taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, managing a full-time job and cooking, cleaning and whatnot. And coming to my grandmom, I'd say that my grandmom is one of the smartest person I know. She solves Sudoku puzzles at the age of 80. So, I have just been so inspired by her zeal to learn even at this age. So even now she, asks me about what I'm doing, what my interests are, and she's so enthusiastic about learning even at this age. So this is one thing I really look up, about my grandmom and my mom. So yeah, I guess this is my answer to this. And a very happy Women's Day to everyone watching. And it was such a lovely interaction session today. I really had a lot of fun.
That was really inspiring, Ananya. Next, we have the same question for Dravisha.
There's a quote that comes to my mind that no one is my inspiration and everyone is my inspiration. By that, I mean to say that every woman that I've met thus far and every woman that I don't know or haven't even met and has been fighting gender stereotypes, fighting patriarchy in their own homes or workplaces, each one of them is an inspiration to all of us and many out there. So I can't really point a finger. It will be unfair for me to, point my finger on one person. So I'm going to say that every woman that has been fighting wars and fighting issues out there, just so that our the future generation could live in a life that there are no such issues like patriarchy and gender discrimination at workplaces, gender pay gap. In fact, is an inspiration to us all. But if I were to put my finger on one person, I think it'll be Michelle Obama. I really look up to her as a lady, she is, she's been thus far, be it as the first lady, and even now. I would really recommend everyone to listen to this podcast by her, and also the Great Business Women. It is on Spotify. These two podcasts are really, really inspiring, and I would just like to bring them up as two podcasts that are hosted by women. So, and I think it will be unfair for me to just name women. I think there are also men in my life who've inspired me greatly. So let's just not forget them, even though it's Women's Day. My grandfather actually picked up learning Python and Swift with me getting into engineering college, and he also develops app at the age of 70 plus in the language of Swift. So I wouldn't say that it has only been women for me thus far who has been very inspiring to me. It's I think a mix of both genders for me.
That was really great to hear. And last but not the least, Sashrika, you would like to answer this question.
Sure. I agree with Dravisha on this front. I mean, it would be really unfair for me to point out fingers and say that this is particular, this particular woman inspired me. There are so many out there who inspired me to be who I am today and achieve what I am. I mean, starting with my group of peers, my mom, my parents. I mean, they inspired me a lot. They inspire me every day. My peers inspire me. My seniors, they have a huge role in shaping who I am. And they're like a ton of them. I'm from a women's college. I mean, I'm surrounded by women all around who inspire me every day. They're also my mentors, my GS mentor who inspired me. I spent 6 months with her to, shape me, groom me. There are a lot of folks out there who inspire me every day. And again, I agree with Dravisha on this point that they're not, let's not just forget that there are a lot of men who inspire us as well and make us and inspire us every day to be the best version of ourselves. I mean, my manager currently at Major League Hacking, he is the best manager I could ever ask for. He's been inspiring me every day to be who I am. He wants to he makes me better, and he wants me to be the better version of myself. So a lot of those folks have this all of them have a different way of contributing to my life or my journey or making me successful in whatever version you call success. I mean, balancing my social life, balancing my work, or anything else that comes along with what you call life. But there are a lot of folks out there who have helped and shaped me who I am and who gave me that confidence to speak up for myself whenever I wanted to. I mean, I stepped in a room where folks judged me and told me that you are being given all of these scholarships or all of these opportunities just because you're a woman. And I was there to point fingers at a lot of them and say, first of all, that is not true. I mean, have you seen my skill set? Have you seen me work day and night to be where I am today? No, you haven't. But I mean, even those folks inspire me to work every day to prove myself. And there are also a bunch of people that, even though they're negative in their front, I mean, they inspire me to be more positive and don't let their negative thoughts affect me. And at the same time, there are folks who genuinely believe in my skills, who genuinely believe in what I do and help me out each day to take that a level up, take that a step ahead. And I mean, this Women's Day, I would like to congratulate and wish a happy Women's Day to all the folks out there who are fighting in some way or the other to smash that patriarchy that is still going around and be the best version of themselves, so that when they come out on the other side of it, they have a beautiful journey to explain to them, a beautiful journey to talk about, just like all of us panelists who talked about their journey today. I mean, it was so inspiring, it was so beautiful. I was in awe of all the inspiring stories that you had to share today and all your experiences that you had to share. I'm sure that you have to go to a lot of tough phases to reach where you are right now, but I'm so glad to see that you all came out on the other side of it with a bright smile and a wonderful zeal which you can share with everyone. So I mean, it's not just pointing out someone, but it would be a whole ode to the community out there, so that everyone feels a part of this incredible gesture.
Thank you, Sashrika, for sharing your views. And sadly, but we have reached to an end of our questions. So that's how many questions we had for today. So, one of the main learnings I got from the session is that, sometimes when we may be discouraged or disheartened, we are tempted to believe that only lucky people get the opportunities or the best opportunities, and then that we just don't have that lucky quality in ourselves. So, but however, anyone can encounter numerous opportunities when we put in the work to step into the right place, can encounter numerous opportunities, and we can succeed them, as we have all of our inspiring speakers and their inspiring journeys. I just got to know that there are various opportunities. We just have to go and open that door, and then universe will give all of you what is the things you have ever wanted in your life. So we would have loved to hear many more inspiring stories and your experiences. But sadly, as we are bounded by time, we have to end the session for today. And I would like to express my immense gratitude to all of the speakers today. Thank you so much for joining us, Soumya, Ananya, Sashrika Di, and also Dravisha. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and inspiring our folks. So thank you so much for joining. And also, I would like to thank all of the audience for joining in and being a great audience as you are. Thank you for asking questions. And I hope that you have got inspired by their various journey, by their inspiring journeys, as I have. So thank you so much, everyone who have joined the session. I hope you have enjoyed the session. And on the behalf of our team, DSC team, I would like to tell that tomorrow will be the last day of a Women's Week program, and you will get to meet all of the DSC lead who have who did put efforts in this session. So let's just meet tomorrow again, and till then, take care and bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Happy
you so
Women's Day.
much. Happy Women's Day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Happy Women's
Bye-bye.
Day.
It was an incredible session. Thank you all.